values to valued culture. Here is your host, Will Scott, interviewing another CEO about leading culture in their company.
Jeremy Weisz here. Today I'm very excited. We have Will Scott. He's the founder of Culture Czars. He talks to CEOs that care about corporate culture. His purpose is to help CEOs create environments so that employees love where they work and why they work. And as we know, staff, employees are the lifeblood of any business. Today's episode is brought to you by The Culture Fix. This is Will's life's work on culture boiled down to the most important aspects you need to know in his book. Go to culturezars.com to pick up a workbook that will help you start implementing a great culture. He's been sought after by many companies to create this, so he finally did. And if you check it out, it helps you bring core values alive in a graphical way. You'll find out more. You'll understand. Go to culturezars.com. And so, well, I'm excited to dig into this. And going back to when you first, why you came up with this, where this originates from.
Yeah, that's interesting because I've owned a couple of tech companies. I definitely enjoyed, growing those and leading those companies, Jeremy. But I'm really excited about Culture Czars, my latest company, and the material that's coming out of there. Not just for me personally, but for the benefits it's bringing my clients. But the story begins actually, and that's why I feel so aligned doing what I'm doing, because it takes me back to growing up in Zambia, which is, in Central Africa. And one of the things I used to love doing was building clubhouses there. I built all kinds of houses. This is, before I was even 10 years old. I built tree houses. I built forts on stilts. I built an underground cave, and even a bamboo house underneath a mango tree, which had a fence and everything around it. So I love doing that. I still love doing that. My mantra today is still creating environments where people thrive so they can be the best that they can be. But there's no point sitting in those clubhouses on my own, so I would want to invite friends around, but I would want them to respect, my efforts and not trash the place. And also I just like people, I like including people, and I like people being nice to each other. So I put some rules on the wall. In all these clubhouses, I'd put little rules, and I remember one of them was, for example, was be nice to each other. So if people wanted to be a part of the clubhouse, they had to be nice to each other. And as soon as people weren't being nice to each other, I would point at the poster on the wall and say, hey, guys, we agreed to be nice to each other. And that was kind of the end of the story. I didn't need to be...
I could totally see the little Will doing that. Because you do that now with people. It's a very third-party way of doing it in a nice way.
Well, that's one of the benefits of having defined core values. And so I think it's the same in corporations today. Let's define via some core values how we want to coexist in this space together and how we want to work together. And then it makes all those kind of conversations really easy. As you know, I believe great culture leads to great performance. And so, that's why I'm doing what I do today and why I feel so excited about it, because it's really who I've been all my life.
How do you think growing up in Zambia shaped you?
Well, it's obviously a little different from everyone's regular upbringing. I ran around barefoot for a long time, in the bush, entertaining myself. And at a young age, I was also sent to boarding school in Ireland. So getting on a plane, 11 years old, and flying across the world to go to boarding school, because we didn't have the best English-speaking schools there. So definitely different upbringing, but one I value very much.
So there's a couple ways this has manifested in your career with the core values and people even kind of self-selecting out. And there's been a couple examples where after you've kind of expressed to a company and what happened after that. Can you talk about that?
Yes, well, I remember at Lextech, our mobile app development company, early on we defined our core values there. And as I recommend in my program, one of the things is you have a rollout of those and you announce them. And that's just how it starts. You then got to keep that momentum going. But the first time we did that, one of our employees basically walked out of our conference room and resigned. He just decided and knew, had a feeling probably that these values were not the right environment for him. So just a perfect example. That saved us a lot of trouble. We'd probably have to exit this guy at some point down the road, but he self-selected out, as you say, Jeremy. And that's one of the benefits of having a defined culture.
What was it? Do you remember? What was it that didn't?
No,
it's almost like the opposite of resonating, right? It like didn't resonate with them.
Yeah. Well, I would say it probably wasn't any one thing. It was because, together a bunch of core values will describe the environment. And he just knew that environment was one that wasn't going to work for him.
What was one of the core values of that company that you remember that you could share?
Well, funny you should ask, because I think specifically to this individual, one of them was teamwork. Right. And we personified that with actually two characters that we came up with, T and Wok. This guy was kind of a loner. He worked alone, and that was not going to work for us as an environment. We knew we wanted folks to work together, and that creativity and productivity would be much better with teamwork. But he was one of those, lone cowboys, and that might have been one of the things that nudged him out.
So one of the things I get excited when I hear you talk about is bringing core values alive. And so, and obviously people can check out that workbook at culturezones.com. So talk about what that means exactly. So when people check it out, they have a better idea.
Yeah, absolutely. So, the book is broken up into three basic sections, and I call those, bring your core values alive, make them thrive, and use them to drive performance. So under the bring them alive, that is really about not just having words on the wall, but somehow bringing imagery and the arts, really, and creativity, so that they become more memorable. There's tons of research that shows, we remember things 65% better if they are in some way imagery. A picture tells 1,000 words, I guess.
Yeah.
So one of the main things that I do, one of the things that people enjoy doing is to bring their core values alive, is bringing personas. And that can take all kinds. It could be a character, a cartoon character. It could be a real life historian. It could be, as one of my friends did, a character from the Star Trek. His core values are represented by Spock and Scotty and stuff like that. So somehow bring them alive with imagery, even add music. I used to begin all my town halls with a theme song that represented, what the core values. And some of my clients do that too.
So everyone check out culturezars.com. There's a workbook. The Culture Fix is the book. And I would get it just because there's a awesome picture of Will in his treehouse. I can't believe you actually built that thing. Did you actually build that?
Oh yeah, and it had a retractable ladder, so that so once we went up in there, we'd pull the ladder up, and that would stop other people coming up there.
That's amazing. I love it. Thanks, Will.
Yeah. Cheers, Jeremy. Thanks.
Thanks for listening. Be sure to click subscribe, check us out on the web at culturezars.com, and we'll see you next time.